So, have you ever been pulled over for speeding, and when the officer approaches your vehicle, they ask you this infamous question: do you know how fast you were driving? It's a question that almost everybody seems prompted to answer almost immediately. But it's a trick question. Don't answer the question. I'm going to tell you why it's a trick question and how to answer it in just a second. So, I am criminal defense attorney Hannah Akintoye, and a lot of my clients who get pulled over by the police, especially in cases that involve DUIs, get asked this question in the beginning of the police stop: do you know how fast you were going? Now, the reason why it's a trick question is because most people don't remember how fast they were going. And so the point of the question is to pigeonhole you into saying a speed that is above the speed limit, right? And what you're essentially doing is you're talking yourself into a ticket, because you really don't know why the officer stopped you. They could have stopped you for a busted taillight, and now in addition to the ticket for the taillight, you have now just talked yourself into a speeding ticket. So the way to answer this question is by simply not answering the question. I know that seems pointless, but hear me out on this. You don't want to answer the question, but at the same time, you don't want to lead the officer on into thinking that you were speeding and you're trying to hide it, right? Because if you say a speed that is way below the speed limit, then they're gonna know that you're lying, right? If you say something that's above the speed limit, then of course you just talked yourself into a ticket. So my go-to is answering the question with a question. You don't lie to the police officer, but you're simply inquiring more, and you're essentially playing the same trick on them that they're playing on you. For instance, so my go-to is: so you pulled me over, but you don't know how fast I was going? And so in a situation like that, the officer almost feels prompted to defend themselves, right? They feel as though they don't want you to think that they're pulling you over illegally, and then they're going to give you some type of answer that tells you a little bit more about why they pulled you over. If it was a speeding ticket, if they think you're the suspect of some type of crime, if you match the description, or something else. So it's best that you don't answer the question. Best case scenario, you're going to get the same ticket that you were going to get anyway. Worst case scenario, you've just talked yourself into a higher speed. You've just talked yourself into a higher ticket, right? Maybe something like 20 miles over this posted speed limit, or you've talked yourself into an additional ticket on top of what the officer was going to give you anyway. If you were ever asked that question, how fast were you going, or do you know how fast you were going? Whatever you do, don't answer it. So if you found this information helpful, just share with a friend or family member who you know gets pulled over often. And if you have any questions, feel free to message me and I would be glad to chat with you. I'll talk to you soon, and you guys take care.